Blog Talk Radio.
Could the biggest science project ever lead to the end of the world?
The massive gas line ruptures, could it happen in your neighborhood?
How many sex offenders live in your neighborhood?
Are there terrorist cells in your neighborhood?
Marijuana, could it be in your neighborhood?
Are your kids being brainwashed? I'll tell you who's taking cues from the Nazis.
A town in California is insisting that every second grader learns about gay penguins.
Social engineering of America's children.
We'll have global governance run by elites.
We'll have our own little China workforce right here in America.
Doomsday 2000. Killer bees. Bird flu.
The terror threat.
The superbug.
Global pandemic.
Illegal aliens.
Gun restrictions.
Right-wing terrorism.
Evangelical Christianity.
Gay marriage. Death panel. The flip-flop.
Indoctrination.
Militias.
Anarchy, chaos, and cannibalism.
Gosh, we better wake up soon. Or we're gonna wake up dead.
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
I gotta get myself out of this town, and I don't know.
All right, guys, this is Robert Wasman with the Journalistic Revolution. My co-host, Matthew Dalton, shall be with us here shortly. This is our first episode. We're doing a little test run. A little background of why we chose this song is because we met Deadbeats at the Paul Fest down in Tampa, and we actually became pretty good friends, and we really love their music, so we decided to make this our intro because, you know, we're out of the game. We're not playing their silly games anymore. So you're going to have to bear with us this episode because we're dealing with all the fact of being a noob, and we're trying to get him connected, Matthew Dalton, connected with us right now. I'm not. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get him on the blog talk on here so he can co-host this along with me, and I'm having some technical difficulties because, again, I'm just a noob. So, the reason of the Journalistic Revolution and the reason we decided to go live is because we decided this first 15 minutes we're going to discuss what we're about. We notice sensationalism has gone insane in the news, and we're tired of it. And so we want to have a place where you can not only find a place that tries to be factual and honest in its representation of the data, but also a place where you, the viewer, the listener, can become the journalist, a revolution of journalistic ideals that anybody with a camera phone or an opinion on some facts can, in fact, be a journalist. And hopefully we'll flood the market with independent journalism so that, you know, mainstream media becomes irrelevant. Hold on one second. He's having an issue. I doubt anybody's actually listening to our first episode, but we're having some issues trying to get Matt on, trying to get him on here to co-host with me. So if anybody's actually listening and you're in the chat room, wait, here we go. I think I have him with us. Matthew, are you with us?
I am with you.
All right.
I don't see you, but I'm with you.
That's fine. This is all audio anyway. I was just telling the viewers this is our first episode. We were having a little technical difficulties getting you on, and look at that, we figured it out. You know, but yeah, I figured this first 15 minutes we would be discussing what journalistic revolution is, what we're trying to do, and and what our eventual goal is. And what people can do to be involved with us. So
okay.
So I was starting with our basic mission statement, which I'll quote it exactly here because I actually have it written down. Our mission statement is that we strive to be a factual and honest, open-source news organization. Our hope is not only to report the news, but inform you how to get involved in the news. And that kind of grew from the original idea. Matt, tell them how you came up with this idea for us to start the journalistic revolution.
Well, can you hear me all right?
I hear you fine, man.
Okay. Well, we're at Paul Fest, and I was watching you talking with some of the people like Adam Kokesh, and I thought to myself,
don't forget Deborah Robinette, Susan Wolf.
But I mean, it was that moment specifically with Adam Kokesh that I thought that we need, well, more specifically you, because I learned a lot of what I know from you, but we needed to be doing more inside the movement, and I really felt like a news type kind of spreading the vision of truth and flooding the market with the truth to make the mainstream media basically irrelevant was the best way to do it.
Yeah, and basically up until that point, because people, I talked to everybody who's involved in the Facebook page and the journal and the YouTube channel, and just recently our website. But everybody I talked to, they're all like, oh yeah, did you hear about Paul Fest? Oh yeah, we went to that. Did you hear about Campaign for Liberty? Oh, we were there. Did you go to this rally, that rally? And it's like, yeah, we were there. But we were just rally participants. We weren't,
spectators.
Yeah, so to speak. I mean, we were involved in the rally. Like if they wanted to march, we marched, sign waving, stuff like that. We'd show up to these, Campaign for Liberty and the sign waving events and such. But for the most part, we didn't talk to any of the people involved in the organizing, or at least not knowingly. We were just participants in the rally is the best way to say it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But and so Journalistic Revolution was our way to get involved. As a matter of fact, our first episode ever was about Paul Fest, what happened down there, which I know most of you who will be listening in probably already know. Ron Paul got cheated out of some delegates, and the Paul Fest people got blackballed by the Sundome people, and there was a big hado there. A video leaked of Peter Schiff reading a letter, an email or a text message from what's his name, Benton. And we saw all that happening, and we wanted to, get more involved. And it evolved from that, though. It started off as just us wanting to report the news. But then we realized, reporting news, especially in politics, it's very difficult to be unbiased. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. as hard as we did try, we wound up finding ourselves being opinionated even in our shows.
I mean, granted, we announced it.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. It's not like we didn't tell people this is our opinion, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so that's when it kind of moved to where we started getting more involved in activist news. Right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do something, Robert. I apologize. I'm trying to pull up the video chat, and I just paid for the subscription, so I apologize if I'm a little out of it for the first couple minutes.
Well, that's fine. But yeah, no, you made me lose track. You got videos popping up on my screen over here. But so anyway, so I mean, that's when we decided to get involved in more of activist news and letting people know, how they can get involved in the news we were reporting on, and that's really become what our baby's about now. Am I off subject about that?
No, you're right. You're dead on. I think what happened after Paul Fest, you saw actually not so much after Paul Fest. It happened after Paul Fest and before the election, but right after the election, it seemed to get real dicey within the movement. I saw a lot of bickering, and it just seemed to amplify once the election was over. A lot of name calling, a lot of arguing over silly semantics, and I think that's at that moment kind of where we turned our focus.
Yeah, Yeah, I can agree on that, and and that's one of the things that I think that JRev is evolving into too. If you like how we're getting in contact with all these other independent journalists and independent media and people just with a camera and an opinion based on fact. We're getting them, and we want their content on the website. And the reason we want them on the website is because we want people to have a place to go and look at the different nuances in the philosophies of liberty. And whatever you're doing with that video is going to drive me crazy.
What? I'm not doing anything. I stopped doing anything.
Oh, that's weird. You keep flashing up and down on my screen. All right, yeah, that was riveting radio right there. So anyway, it was Journalistic Revolution, at least the website as itself, by itself as it stands, is somewhere that we want people to go to, where they can learn about voluntarism, anarchism, anarcho-capitalism, libertarianism, Ron Paul republicanism, big L libertarianism, and that way where you are financially, geologically, and even where you are in the message of liberty, you can find somewhere you fit and you can help push the message of liberty. You may not agree with politics, so you find voluntarism. You may not agree with voluntarism, so you go towards libertarianism. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I absolutely 100% agree.
All right. Well, we got like 2 minutes left on this segment, man. What else? Oh, people need to sign in. People need to send us articles. People need to send us content. That really is what the journalistic revolution is going to depend on, I think, is how much people get involved. And for some of the people, just to name drop real quick, that we have that said that we can use their content, that are of opposing, quote unquote, opposing philosophies of liberty, are people all the way from Christopher Cantwell and Luke Rudkowski, right, all the way over to the Libertarian Party of Florida and Liberty Underground Radio, and those people are very political, but Luke Rudkowski and Christopher Cantwell are very voluntaristic. Fun. You finish that word for me.
Voluntaristic?
There you go. And so, yeah. And I think that's really cool. Just to name drop a little bit there for you. But
a little bit of name dropping.
A little bit of name dropping, and but I mean, it is what it is, you have to name drop just a little bit. So, I mean, we're coming up to do you have anything to add to that, Matt?
No, I think what's important to for people to understand is it's kind of this mentality where are you sitting on the sidelines or are you getting involved? And I think where we come in is we're trying to provide a hub to report this stuff so people can use this information to either A, get involved, B, use the information to maybe persuade a friend or if you have something to say yourself, just send it to us. We'll publish it. We can't give you anything for publishing it, but other than something having your name on it and other people reading it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you guys got to remember, we don't get paid. We've been doing this for the better part of the year. Not the radio, of course. You're listening to our first episode. We have a guest in the chat room. So hello, guest 13073.
Robert, that's me.
That's even worse. That's great.
I was looking for the link so I can post it on Facebook.
Man, is that a derp moment or what?
What?
Hi, guest. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's rough.
I was going to be sneaky and post this.
Yeah. You just have to, don't you?
Yep. I absolutely have to.
That's the end of the first 15 minutes. Yeah. So we're moving this along. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Oh man, I just drew a blank. Oh, cognitive dissonance. It's going to be our newest video coming out. Most likely be done tonight. It's uploading on YouTube right now, and you haven't seen it yet. But when I do the PSA part of the video about cognitive dissonance, I end it when it says the end. I put a troll face on it, right? And there's a reason I put that troll face on there, because in reality, the whole damn video turned out to be kind of a troll. Because, it's called I Have Cognitive Dissonance. And then, of course, in the beginning, we say how we're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. And then we go into the PSA. And then it goes into about having conversations with people. And then it talks about finding common ground. And I kind of end it with Adam Armstrong from Rebel Inc. talking about how we can that if we focus on what is common in our message of liberty, the problems will kind of sort itself out, because the problems won't be as big or contentious once we have more liberty. Yeah, So I think it's really good, and I think people are going to like it. But I think cognitive dissonance is something that needs to be in the conversation, and realizing that everybody has it.
At some level.
At some level, just at varying degrees of confidence.
That's a very good point.
But at varying degrees of cognitive dissonance. I mean, it's all the way up to, we can say someone who claims to be a libertarian but thinks that that they should have killed both those people in Boston. Cognitive dissonance, like the state is evil, but I need the state to protect me. But all the way down to being in a really crappy relationship, but coming up with, but it's not that easy. It's not that easy. I can't just leave him. He has my CDs. You
had to go gay, didn't you?
Yeah, but you can't go full gay. Anyway, so you can only go part gay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Go part gay.
I can't wait until we have some sound effects for this. Have a little clip right then. That would have been perfect. But no. Instead, we had to give you our really shitty impersonations.
No, just out of curiosity, how's being that we're new at this, what is it that you're having to do in order to get sound bites?
I have to download the sound bites, and then I have to upload them into the audio clips on Blog Talk Radio, and and then I can just hit play whenever I want. Like, I played the whole intro. Look, I can play it right now.
Please do. I missed it.
Could the biggest science project ever lead to the end of the world?
The massive gas line ruptures, could it happen in your neighborhood?
How many sex offenders live in your neighborhood?
Are there terrorist cells in your neighborhood?
Marijuana. Could it be in your neighborhood?
Are your kids being brainwashed? I'll tell you who's taking cues from the Nazis.
A town in California is insisting that every second grader learns about gay penguins.
Social engineering of America's children.
We'll have global governance run by elites.
We'll have our own little China workforce right here in America.
Doomsday 2000. Killer bees. Bird flu.
The terror threat.
The superbug.
Global pandemic.
Illegal aliens.
Gun restrictions.
Right-wing terrorism.
Evangelical Christianity.
Gay marriage. Death panels. The flip-flop.
Indoctrination.
Militias.
Anarchy, chaos, and cannibalism. Gosh, we better wake up soon. Or we're gonna wake up dead.
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution. I got to go.
But yeah, no, I was telling people a short history about why we use this as an intro.
Yeah.
But stop it.
And And much love to Deadbeats for allowing us to use their music.
Oh yeah. They're awesome. And I have to give a shout out to Corrected Axiom, just because I don't give out a shout out to them enough. And now also in my top, my top 5 favorite, Rebel music, Rebel Inc. They were awesome. And of course, Adam Armstrong's in the video we're going to be posting tonight. So
I'd also like to send a shout out to Trip Pugh, since he plugged us earlier on Liberty Movement Radio. I'd like to give a shout out for his show as well. Trip Pugh, he's on Liberty Movement Radio. Check him out.
NWO Fighter is the name of his show. Really? You just
hey man.
That was awesome.
Dead radio is supposed to be a bad thing in radio.
My God. Well,
dead air is what it's called.
Yeah, dead air. Well, I mean, that's all what we're about. Riveting radio.
Riveting radio. We're gonna get better, folks. I promise.
Yeah, don't listen to him. He's lying. But we are going to say at this level of production, there's nothing you can do about it. Throw your money at us. I dare you. There's no way this will get.
Well, see, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to go live, because despite our level of production, we could probably do more with the radio. We can say more, we can talk more, we can bring up more subjects, and we can hit it on a daily issue. We would film shows, and then 3 days later it'd be irrelevant, and no point in even editing them. So at this point, at this rate, we're doing some live work. We can actually hit on subjects as they come, and hopefully get the information out there quicker.
Okay, yeah. No, I completely understand. You know what we should do the next time we're on air is we should go back to all those irrelevant videos we've made and cover them on the air.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should make a list.
Yeah, just put it on the list, right? But it's put it on the list. It'll get done eventually. But it was I think that as we progress, this is, of course, going to grow and get better. And I apologize to the fact that this pretty much sounds like a phone conversation to most people right now. But don't worry, we're going to cover many, many things. Like right now, one thing I want to cover, one thing I just want to talk, and I want everybody to know this conversation is about it's about to just be completely hypothetical. I'm not going to say that any of the opinions that we're about to express are canon, but I want to talk to you about all the conspiracies surrounding Boston right now.
Oh God, yeah. I didn't see this one coming.
No. Well, I don't have anything pulled up on it right now. I just have the research that I have off the top of my head, and now. Let's look at the common denominator with all the theories. All right. The common denominator is that the government was involved or had some prior knowledge to the Boston bombings. Can we say that that's relatively correct?
I think I could agree with that. Pragmatically, I don't think we can prove it.
No. But I out of all the. It was a false flag. It was a lie hop. It was one of those weird FBI things that they do where they train them and send them out to do it and then bust them, and or if it was just some sort of radicalized cell that acted and the government just took advantage of the situation. But no matter what theory that you look at on that, you can say that the common denominator is that the government had prior knowledge and or was involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the part that kills me, is because there's all sorts of information all over the internet and the interweb or whatever that the FBI has done this before. And you can sit there and talk to people till you're blue in the face, and they just go, "There's no way our government would do something like that to us, man."
Yeah, no, and I agree that response is a logical fallacy. But I've heard very good and very well thought out arguments against some of those conspiracies out there, and with verifiable sources and proof.
Okay.
And so and I'm not just talking about Boston at that moment. I'm talking about in general with any conspiracy. I've heard good debunks. I've had to change my own beliefs because of good debunks that I've researched.
Well, I mean, and you approached me about this months and months ago about not being a conspiracy theorist but being a conspiracy pragmatist,
or a factician is the word I use.
Yeah, and I happened and I couldn't argue with you. There was no arguing that. You really could sit there and look at all the evidence in the world, but to say that you know something is fact without having any evidence to support it, we'll go to the extreme. We'll go to 9/11 conspiracy, where everybody, well, not everybody, but the majority of the theorists are claiming it was our own government. We can prove a lot of things that were wrong about that day, but one thing we can't prove is who was behind it.
Well, that's another thing too. Is I am a big believer in compartmentalization. Okay, I think that all forms of government and corporations and even small businesses compartmentalize. It's a well-known fact. For those of you who don't know what it is, Google it. I'm not your science teacher. Anyways, or that wouldn't be science. Son of a bitch. Now I am stupid. Okay, so compartmentalization. For those of you who really don't know and aren't going to Google it because you won't, it's basically you have a compartment of people or devices that only do one thing or are unaware of their part played in the production of a product. Like an assembly line would be a good idea. The people who are putting down the foundation have no idea what the people who put on the tires, the doors do.
Yeah.
So when people are like, if the FBI was involved, let's say that we find out without a shadow of a doubt, we have all the evidence we need to prove that the FBI was involved. That still doesn't prove the government was involved. Because the FBI does a lot of things in clandestine ways where the government isn't really aware.
Yeah, and I actually watched a video, and I don't know who this guy is. He's a retired officer, but the one thing he did mention, he didn't say, when he talked about the government being involved, and obviously I have no proof other than what he was saying, he didn't say it was the whole government. He said factions within the government. So it's safe to assume that there's things going on within the government, that there are some parts that have no clue what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like how, okay, I'm about to say something here on the radio that you won't hear me say in my videos or in any of my articles, right?
Uh-oh.
My opinion on 9/11 has always been expressed like this. 9/11 was a false flag operation perpetrated by criminal elements both inside and outside of our government to institute new laws, both economic and towards civil liberty, to usher in a new era of corporatism.
I think that's fair to say.
Okay. And now I know a lot of the people are, who aren't 9/11 truthers, and I don't really consider myself a 9/11 truther because I don't really have a theory who did it. I don't really have a theory exactly on how they did it, but I know the way that they told me it happened, that's crap, or at least most of it,
Godzilla is even a more believable story than the 9/11 Commission report.
Yeah, and that's really what a lot of people don't understand when they find out that I'm a truther, is that it's not that I agree with Loose Change or 9/11 Mysteries or Freedom to Fascism or any of the plethora of Alex Jones videos, because in reality I kind of don't agree with most of those videos. But what I don't agree with the 9/11 Commission's report either, and that's what I disagree with.
Yeah.
And people try to quote, architects and all these other people, and I'm all like, okay, so why aren't they in the 9/11 Commission's report? If we do have all this evidence that buildings can fall the way that they tell us to, if we do have all this evidence that that fire can sometimes defy physics, then why weren't those people in the 9/11 Commission's report? And why wasn't when they found out that there was money missing and misappropriations, and they found out where the money was being filtered from, why didn't they get into that. I mean, within the first page of the 9/11 Commission's report, it's like this commission was not assigned to or was not put together to assign blame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It says it was commissioned to find out what actually happened.
But they have varying degrees of confidence, right?
Varying degrees of confidence.
The second most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
No, that's my new favorite phrase. I'm using that all the time. So the people who are listening, or let me rephrase, for the people who are not listening, Matthew and I were in Dunkin' Donuts, and we were watching CNN, not voluntarily, and it was up there, and they were talking about the gas that was being used in Syria, right? And it says that the intelligence officers are certain that they used chemical weapons. And then in quotation marks, it said, with varying degrees of confidence. Which, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure that means, oh.
We're not sure, but somebody said it. That'd be like if they went to my Facebook page, read it on my Facebook page, because I just felt like saying it one day, and decided to report on it. That's basically all it is.
Yeah. That's stupid. But anyway, that's how I see conspiracy theories. When I look at conspiracy theories, I look at them exactly the same way I look at an official story. And that's what I don't think a lot of people realize because a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, you're a truther. And I'll be like, no, I believe terrorists were involved. And they're all like, because that's the first thing. Oh, yeah, you tell me planes didn't hit that building? That's like the first argument I'm hearing. I'm like, no, I think planes hit that building. Oh, yeah, and let me guess, there was nobody on the planes? No, I bet there was fucking people in those planes. I'm sorry. And I don't think, I'm not a big false flag like the actors thing, like how we're seeing with Boston conspiracy.
Oh, man, those guys were totally actors, man. Totally actors.
Yeah, I missed the casting call.
Yeah.
What I want to know is if they are actors. I mean, how hard that would be to hide that fact?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to have a theory. I mean, I just don't.
I saw a video, and it was one of the many videos I sent you. I don't know if you ever watched it. This guy.
Many of the ones I did not watch.
Many of the videos that you don't watch, yeah. This guy was saying that and supposedly, because he was talking about something completely different, but he brought up his previous show, and where he said that he showed everybody the waiver that these actors have to sign, stating that they can't say a word. And, of course, I didn't research it because I thought it was BS to begin with, but I was just like, that's the depth and the level that the conspiracy goes. They're like, well, wait a minute, because the next question invariably in anybody's mind is, well, how do they keep it quiet? But how do you answer that? You answer, well, check out this waiver I just happened to find. I'm not going to tell you where I found it, but I found it. It's a waiver that they have to sign. What?
Here's my problem, though. When you have an event happen like Boston or 9/11 or anything like that, and you already have a preconceived conclusion before seeing any of the facts, you will find evidence that back up your theory. There's no way that you won't find evidence that back up your theory.
Yeah.
It's the reason the scientific method was freaking created, because these people could just go, hey, I could turn lead into gold by doing this, this, and this, and then they'd sell it to a bunch of people.
Thank God for Francis Bacon. That's all I'm saying.
All right, thank God for bacon. But it's like, so really, this episode, we told you about what we want to accomplish with our website and with our YouTube channel. And we told you guys, we name dropped a little and told you that, we're We're going to be trying to make sure that you can get a place to go to find information on Luke Radowski, Christopher Cantwell, Libertarian Party movement, quote-unquote liberty Republicans. And I don't say that with any sarcasm whatsoever. But, and we tell you guys about that. And then I dropped a bomb, and I said, that I'm actually, I come out of the closet. I'm a conspiracy factician. I will debate facts with you about an issue. I will not debate theories or hyperbole or straw mans or ad hominems. I will debate facts. And if you don't want to debate those facts, then that's kosher. But anywho, this next, because we got about 24 minutes left. So in this next one, I want to talk more about Matthew and I and our philosophy. So you know where we're coming from.
Just so you know, Robert isn't just speaking for me. We pretty much have come to the conclusion we agree about 98% of everything that comes out of our mouths.
Except for the fact that mayonnaise doesn't have to be refrigerated.
And Primus is a better band than Rage Against the Machine.
You know what? I'll give you that if you just tell me live right now that mayonnaise doesn't need to be refrigerated. I will say live that right now on the radio that Primus is a better band than Rage Against the Machine.
Mayonnaise needs to be refrigerated if it's going to taste any good. That's all I'm going to say.
No, see, you can't even do it. That's why Primus will never be better than Rage Against the Machine. Anyway.
We do have a listener, by the way, Robert. Margaret's listening.
Oh, Margaret's listening. That's awesome. So anyway, this part of this segment, hi Margaret. This part of this segment, or this part of the show, we want to talk about, about us and where we come philosophically from. And I think I'll start, and that'll give Matt a couple of minutes because I'm throwing these things out as I go. That'll give him a couple of minutes to get his.
I'm great at improv, so go right ahead.
All right, awesome. Well, then fine, you go first. So philosophically, I am a voluntarist. Who was it that pointed that out? That it sounds like I'm saying terrorist.
Mike, it was our Mike Troy interview, and I hear it every time too. It's hilarious.
Voluntarist, right? And my ideal goal would be a completely voluntaristic society. But I am somewhat of a cynic and a realist, and I also know that's not going to happen overnight. I do not think that...
Or maybe in our lifetime, for that matter.
Or it will. Yeah, hopefully. So anyway, but I do not think that government is going to be the solution to government. I think it's really going to be involvement. And what does that mean? That means I don't care if you're involved in the Libertarian Party, the Republican Party, voluntaristic actions, or rallies, or you're just growing your own food and getting off the grid. I don't care what it is, long as you're doing it to give us more freedom and to shrink the power of the government. Ultimately, if we all work together, the government would shrink some, and then, right, it would be easier to manage. So then, the voluntarists and the anarchists and the small L libertarians can shrink it some more, and then the hardcore voluntarists or the ideological voluntarists can push it down to non-existence. And that's really the way that I see it. So you'll never hear me ridicule you for voting for somebody. That's your gig. Do it, whatever. All right. But at the same time, I don't expect you to ridicule me if I decide not to vote. I will never ridicule your religious beliefs as long as they are based in love or lack of religious beliefs. But I will just rip you a new butthole if you don't use logic, if you don't use facts, if you don't, and if you do express some sort of cognitive dissonance, you don't own up to it. Be like, yeah, okay, well, because if you own up to it, then yeah, okay, that's you. That's because we all have some level of cognitive dissonance. Like I believe in evolution, yet I'm a Christian. It tends not to make sense, but I do. And I accept it, and I'll accept it from you. But if you won't admit that you have it, then of course I'm going to rip you a new one. And that's me. That's where I'm coming from ideologically and philosophically.
Very good.
Don't say ditto. Anyways.
It's funny how you just read my mind. No, I too am philosophically a voluntarist. I have some questions to the people who, and I agree with Robert for the most part that I will praise anybody who's doing anything to work towards more freedom. But I have questions for those who have chosen to be more ideological about voluntarism, as who are opting out of the theory of incrementalism, who don't believe it works, which is fine, and I can understand why they have that opinion. But to sit on the sidelines almost in a passive role, and I agree with what Robert said, that you can't have, government doesn't solve government, but shrinking government solves government, and shrinking some more.
I love how we kind of are on the opposite side. That's like the one thing I can say that we lean away from each other is I tend to hold a problem with those who use politics, and I tend to agree more with the voluntarists. And you tend to agree more with like the big L libertarians and have more of the problem with the opt-out voluntarists, which is good. It's good. It's a good thing because it shows people that you can have those opposing views and still remain basically friendly.
Let me go into further depth why I believe this is because the only way we're going to get to a voluntarist society, which we both agree is a great ultimate goal, is to shrink government. And the only way to shrink government is to put people in the government that are willing to stand by their principles and actually do something about shrinking the government.
Well, non-violently.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But
there are ways that we can make it happen overnight, but then it kind of violates the very principle of what we were trying to do.
Exactly. So you can't force 314 million people, however many, to become voluntarists overnight. And the only way is to educate and make people understand, which is what everybody's doing across the entire spectrum of the liberty movement, regardless of your level of involvement. But I think that everybody's like, well, you just can make government irrelevant in your own life. Yeah, but I mean, does that mean you're opting out of being a team player because it's collectivist? Or
yeah, but you want to hear my counterpoint to that?
By all means, go right ahead.
My counterpoint to that is that when they finally tallied up all the taxes this year, they found that $2 trillion was missing. We took $2 trillion out of the hands of the federal government. And we did it through opting out. We did it through not participating in the system, by using alternative currencies, by not getting jobs that you have to pay taxes through and stuff like that. And that's a real, tangible result to the voluntaristic movement, to the opt-out movement, if you will.
Okay.
It's a very tangible result. I'm not saying it's the only means.
Okay.
But it works.
Let me deliver my counterpoint. We all know that whatever shortcomings we have in taxes, the Fed's just going to print more and government's going to continue to grow.
Which is also why through the same voluntaristic movements and the aggregist movements, we're preparing to not have to depend on that money.
Well, that's the reason why we've always agreed that it's going to take everybody.
Well, that's why I think where we do get along. This is the common ground in our philosophies on this, right? You see politics as the more viable option. I see voluntarism as the more viable option. But we agree that neither one of us will succeed without helping the other.
And that is why you and I have gotten so angry at the movement for bickering with each other.
Yeah.
Because
there's some bickering that I think is very justified. I don't want to get into what I'm talking about, but I think there is a lot out there that's justified.
Well, I know what you're talking about, and you're writing an article, and that will come out sooner, hopefully more than later. But what I mean is the bickering where we're yelling at each other, calling each other names and status, and none of that is attractive.
Status anarchist.
to people outside of the movement who, where you get the atheists who want to attack Christians instead of the atheists who want to accept Christians.
And Christians who attack atheists.
Yeah, but how is that? Yeah, but exactly. How is that bringing in more Christians into this philosophy of liberty and freedom? How is that bringing in more atheists into this philosophy of liberty and freedom? If they see it, because trust me, they see it, then how is that going to go, oh, man, I want to go be a part of that?
Yeah, look at that chaos. That's what I want. And, and it's funny because we're supposed to be like the movement of love, the Loveolution. We're supposed to be the movement of unity, not conformity. You don't have to be uniform to be unified, and all that, and we're supposed to be that. But then when you look at us right now, it's very chaotic. And I think that's because there are some elements who are looking to literally just profiteer off the movement. And I'm starting to see it more and more prevalent. I'm not talking about making money while being in the movement.
Or having a career.
Or having a career while being in the movement. But strictly profiteering with no end goal as far as the movement's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, if your principles have absolutely nothing to do, like, we'll take Adam Kokesh as an example. The guy is making money at what he does, and good for him. He deserves it. He's worked hard. He's paid his dues, and
for the most part, he's always stuck to his principles.
And he's always stuck to his principles. And he's smart, and he's got a great argument, and he can break down in a Socratic method. I love watching him debate with people. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why he shouldn't make money. Now, take the other side where there are people within this movement that are making money, and they could really care less about the movement. And they've hurt some people along the way.
Yeah, and they're making money regardless.
Yeah.
The movement could go away tomorrow. These people would still be around making money. Everyone tomorrow could go, you know what? Screw it. We want to be a slave to the state. Oh, great lizard overlords, please tell us what to do.
Hi, with David Icke.
But those people who were in the head of the movement, or big in the movement, or these talking heads, would all still be rich assholes. And again, I'm not going to name names because that's my personal opinion. If I ever have a fact on some of these people, trust me, I will state it.
And which we're working on right now.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now because the article we're working on is we're looking into a couple of groups in the liberty movement that have a very odd pattern of behavior. And
they've caused some people some pain from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and it, I'm not saying these people are like Jesse Benton style assholes, but they're profiteers.
Yeah, and the sad part is when I say they're hurting other people, I don't mean they're like going around punching them in the face, but they're hurting them by sabotaging their efforts, other people's efforts.
So it's a whitewash. I mean, yeah. It's the same way, like my favorite is that stupid Michael Moore movie, Fahrenheit 9/11, right? That movie was a whitewash. You want to know why? It raised a lot of good questions and asked a shitload of stupid ones at the same time. Yeah. So you're like, yeah, and then halfway through it, you're like, this is propagandist bullshit. What am I watching? Yeah.
Well, going off of that, and it was funny because I went to the movies the other last night actually with a couple other people within the Liberty Movement, and just
to let you know we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. But go ahead, continue your story.
Don't you hate going to the movies now versus when you were not awake? Because now you see everything in the movie that's propagandists and et cetera, et cetera.
But,
like, You could always tie it to some political message.
It's only the overt ones that really get me. You know, the ones that are you're all like, where you slap the stranger next to you, and you're all like, you didn't see that, dude? You know, and he's looking at you like, why are you hitting me? And you're just like, dude, you know. But for the most part, like you said, I'm a pragmatist. I can separate myself. I go, what I am watching now is somebody's artistic view that, you know, corporate America has, you know, rubbed their hands all over it, but it's still their artistic view.
You couldn't be further from the truth. That is the Illuminati overlord, lizard people shoving their propaganda down our throats. They wrote those scripts, and they want to enslave everybody with their movies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I was all like, oh, my God, is this... But anyway, well, no, I was going to say, I do believe in social engineering to a degree. You know, when you want a bunch of people behind a war, you make a bunch of war movies. You want a bunch of people to be interested in science, you make a lot of sci-fi movies. You know, and then you just make it relatable to whatever generation you're trying to touch at that time. You know, so it's I believe in social engineering. As for lizard written scripts, I'm not. I mean, I know the lizard people are out there and they're listening, so I got to be nice about it, you know. So I mean, they write good stuff.
Yeah, they write great stuff.
They write good stuff. I mean, Die Hard, come on. That's a lizard written script if I ever seen one.
Oh Lord, have we gone off on a tangent?
Well, you know, you bring up lizard people, and it's just you just want to smash your head against the desk for like 5 minutes, and like there's somebody out there right now that believes me.
That's David Eichen is turd in the punch bowl.
Turd in the punch bowl. You know, let me give you all this great information. You know, all this great, wonderful, factual, sourced information, and then put lizard people right in the middle of it. You know. And if you believe in lizard people, and you're not listening anyway, but I mean, if you believe in lizard people and you happen to be listening to this, give me some evidence, some empirical evidence. I would love to hear it. It would be great. But
just go to one of David Icke's seminars, man, where you spend thousands of dollars to get in. I mean, come on, he's making money hand over fist. He's got to be telling the truth.
I just, you know, a wise man once told me in California, he said, if someone tells you they're telling the truth and then tries to sell it to you, it's bullshit. You know? You know, he goes, the truth never needs to be sold.
That's true.
You know, and that's my problem. You know,
that's totally
on
true.
that note, the donation button on the website.
No, I was going to say that's
revolution.com. No.
We have another guest. I don't know who it is, but we have another guest, and they're catching us at the end of our show. We do apologize.
No, we got 6 minutes and 48 seconds left. So
yeah, so you know, guest, the other guest. This is our first ever show, and we will be doing more in the future, and we will be adding more time as we get better.
Yeah.
So please stay tuned.
Yeah, and then just because we're going to have to wrap it up here in a minute.
I told you to put it for 2 hours.
No, man, I'm going to bed. Anyway, remember to check us out at journalisticrevolution.com. You can also check us out at Journalistic Revolution on the YouTube and our Facebook fan page. You can always get in touch with me or Matthew on Facebook. I'm Robert Wasman. This is Matthew Dalton. And remember, again, the point of the Journalistic Revolution is we want to have a revolutionary idea of journalism where anybody with a cell phone camera or an opinion based on fact or sources that we need to be reporting on.
Or a written article.
Just send it to us at info@journalisticrevolution.com. We'll get it. We'll fact check it for you. If we find anything that's non-factual, we will send it back to you with our sources so you can vet it and send us back your sources or correct the information, and then we will post it and publish it for you. Again, journalisticrevolution.com, because we want to be an open and honest and factual open source news organization.
Play our intro one more time for our new guests.
All right. Yeah, I threw this together in like an hour, guys. I love it. All right.
Could the biggest science project ever lead to the end of the world?
The massive gas line ruptures, could it happen in your neighborhood? How many sex offenders live in your neighborhood?
Are there terrorist cells in your neighborhood?
Marijuana, could it be in your neighborhood?
Are your kids being brainwashed? I'll tell you who's taking cues from the Nazis.
A town in California is insisting that every second grader learns about gay penguins.
Social engineering of America's children.
We'll have global governance run by elites.
We'll have our own little China workforce right here in America.
Doomsday 2000. Killer bees. Bird flu.
The terror threat. The superbug.
Global pandemic.
Illegal aliens.
Gun restrictions.
Right-wing terrorism.
Evangelical Christianity.
Gay marriage. Death panel. The flip-flop.
Indoctrination.
Militias.
Anarchy, chaos, and cannibalism. Gosh, we better wake up soon. Or we're gonna wake up dead.
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
And
Not bad.
It's not bad, you know. I guess it could be better.
I still think you need to add in that Bill O'Reilly bit, but I'm not going to change your mind.
Well, we'll put it on a soundbite. So anytime you feel that need or that desire to have it on the intro, I'll just play. Fuck it, we'll do it live for you, and you'll be good to go.
Well, I think the other part about it is the reason why I like it so much is because it was our very first show, and it was in our bloopers. Because you got so frustrated.
Remember, guys, to check out because we're wrapping it up here last minute here. So remember, guys, check out journalisticrevolution.com. Go to Journalistic Revolution on YouTube, and we also have our Facebook fan page. And then we also have a Twitter account, which I never check, and I think I don't ever tweet. I'm not sure. I may tweet from time to time. If anybody wants to take over our Twitter account, that would be amazing. But anyway, so remember, and you can email us at info@journalisticrevolution.com. And that was our first show. You feel good about it?
Oh yeah, I felt pretty good about it. I like the fact that we actually had pretty good rapport, which we always have really great rapport. So that just kind of goes with the territory. I think what our future is bright in this industry.
Yeah,
I really had no other way of putting it.
It's we're not going to get any better.
Oh crap! Well, I think one thing we need to fix is I need to have that visual with you, so we need to figure out what where I can read off of your facial expressions and whatnot.
That's ridiculous. This is radio.
Yeah, most people in radio are sitting next to each other.
Oh yeah, correspondence, really? No. Anyway. All right. Well. All right, guys. That was the first episode of Journalistic Revolution. I have not actually set up an outro yet, but I will make sure to have that on our next one. Hopefully, same time next week. All right, guys. You have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.